me one question, I would have finished
This
maybe
guy
5
has
minutes.
a problem with the
Excuse me.
Trinity, right?
Excuse me. Hello?
His problem is independence.
Peter.
Now I'm going to tell you something, right?
Peter.
He thinks we have logic
Hello?
problems, but Muhammad's
Peter.
action is not logical.
Why are you so
that's not a problem.
uncivilized?
Listen,
Why are you uncivilized?
Mansur,
Why are
I'm
you
sorry.
so
You went for a long time.
Why are you uncivilized?
Waffling.
Why are you uncivilized?
I'm answering because you have done nothing but waffle. Mansur, listen, I'm patient, right?
In your questions, I didn't say you were waffling.
What do you understand by that?
Understand what? Bunch of dilemmas.
One second. When you stated what you had in your heart and your mind, right?
Yes.
I did not somehow insult you by saying you are waffling, you are talking nonsense, rubbish, gibberish. I didn't say any of that. Wait. I didn't say any of that. In fact, they may well be, but I kept quiet to let you continue to ask your question. Likewise, I appreciate now if you keep remain quiet and listen to the answers. Because you ask so many questions, they will take time. But I'll try to now answer your questions as briefly as possible. So, you talked about Jesus being perfect. Let me answer that question. You do not believe he was perfect, because if he had been perfect, then he would demonstrate his perfection. Let me give you an example of imperfection. If God, you believe Jesus to be, he's perfect, he must be perfect in his knowledge. That means he will have no deficiencies in his knowledge. He would know, excuse me, he would know everything. Everything. Past, present, and future. Us, you're interrupting. Rudely and like an uncivilized individual. So, learn some civilized behavior from a Muslim, at least for once. Right, let me continue. No, I am going to ask you, learn some civility from a Muslim.
No.
Right, because you are interrupting like an uncivilized individual, you have not learned manners and etiquette.
All you do is start from scratch and talk some rambling stuff that makes you think you understand.
Perfection.
No.
The perfection of Jesus. Now you think Jesus is perfect. Perfection of knowledge means someone who knows the past, present and future, someone who doesn't forget, someone who will always know. Now, if Jesus was perfect, if he knew the future already, he cannot then not know, because he knows it already. Like your name is Peter. If Jesus knew your name today, Peter, it's impossible for God, Jesus, according to you, not to know your name tomorrow, or the day after, or the 1,000 years after. He will always know your name, Peter, because he does not forget. He's unknowledgeable. The fact that you believe Jesus, the God who's perfect in knowledge, he gave up his knowledge. It is called the concept of kenosis. He gave up his knowledge, limited himself, humbled himself, made himself nothing, and that's why he doesn't know. That's where the incoherence is. That's where the nonsense is. That's where what makes no sense. If you are God, always knowledgeable, and you don't forget, you can never not know something while you knew it already. So Jesus, in your definition, if you knew the future already, like your name today, he will always know your name. It will be impossible for God to say he doesn't know your name. Because in his nature, he's perfect in his knowledge. It's not that he will take his knowledge, put it into a box, and lock with the key and saying, now I have no access to my knowledge. Nonsense. Just like the Aladdin in the lamp. Imagine, you put God in the lamp, close the lid, God cannot come out anymore. You've trapped him. This kind of concept of God is people who don't use their brains, their mind, and their heart together. They only use their emotions to believe in something. Yep. So if God, Jesus was God, he can never be other than God. He'll always be all knowledgeable. The fact that you believe he somehow limited himself in his knowledge, it shows to you that he was not God to begin with. Because if you are God to begin with, you'll always be knowledgeable. That is why your question about Jesus being perfect, and that's why you believe in God, makes no sense. You don't need to be a Muslim to understand that. All you need to be someone who's sensible, using their critical mind to understand this point. Now, you talked about many things about our Prophet, many things about Islam and so on and so forth. Now, the Quran. You talked about crucifixion. Let me deal with one at a time. The crucifixion story of the New Testament is, I agree with the Christians, that it is a well-attested rumor. That's all it is. People,
No historian agrees with you.
people
No historian.
heard about this rumor and they talked about it. But what you don't know as a Christian, because you don't study yourself, is that this belief was not the only belief. There were Christians from the very early on. They disregarded this belief, rejected this belief. They did not believe Christ died by crucifixion. It wasn't Muslims that invented this idea. It was Christians themselves that talked about it to such a nature, to such an extent, that church fathers like Irenaeus and others, they had to warn their community of Christian believers, don't fall into this trap of not believing Christ died by crucifixion like them, like the Basilidians, right? What do we have today? We have documents within the first 300, 400, 500 years of Christianity, well before Islam, in which we see that it says Christ is there sitting on the tree, on a branch, laughing at the people who were saying they got Christ over there crucifying. They say no, the man that they are crucifying is Simon the Cyrene, who was bearing the cross. So he's saying, look how these people, they are killing the wrong man. Jesus is sitting up there on the tree. This information is not from the Quran. This is what the Christians believed in. So Christ not dying by crucifixion, history attests that not everyone in our records believed he died by crucifixion. There were some who believed in that rumor, right? But what is more important is this. Quran puts it into the right perspective. The Quran says, Quran didn't say there was no crucifixion that took place. On the contrary, Quran says there was a crucifixion, but it wasn't Jesus who was crucified, but God raised him up. We have many narrations in the writings of the few hundred years of Christianity in which it says God raised him up. Raised him up. So now, historically speaking, we know the idea of a crucifixion is a belief by certain individuals, and it was accepted by some early people, and then it became their orthodox belief system. Right, but it's okay. I'm not finished yet. I'm just started with these questions. So now, I've just started with the question one by one. That is your crucifixion. That is your crucifixion. Now, questionings about morality, the character of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Look at how you are so hypocritical with double standards. You believe. You can't make you even know how to solve the conditions and so on. So you should realize.
So when you hear about his prophet,
I'm not finished yet.
Even you struggle
I'm
to
not
defend
finished
it.
yet. I'm not finished
I'm
yet.
not lying, bro.
I'm not finished yet.
You have talked so long.
Be civilized.
No, I'm not.
You should have been clever enough to ask me one or two questions rather than.
If you're mature, you could have started the first question, then we could have won the second.
One second.
Instead, I have to now remember everything you said in the past, which is the problem.
Peter,
Listen,
I'm not finished yet.
Listen, let me just say this.
Peter,
I'll give you 20 seconds.
Peter,
Listen.
20 seconds.
You talk 20
Okay, I'll
seconds.
be charged to you 20 seconds.
Listen, you offered so long that I can hardly remember everything. I've asked you, if you were mature enough, you want to stick with the first question and we went along with it. Now I have to remember everything you said, and you even said a question I didn't even ask you about. And I'm sorry, Mansur, but you're wasting my time and I'm trying to get to the point. Can you stop talking?
How many seconds left? Okay, fine, good. So now, when you asked me all of those questions, one after the other, everything apart from the bathroom sink, right? You expected me to remember all of that and answer. You were. Wait. You did that, knowing that it may not be possible to answer.
That's not how it works.
Excuse me. You were not smart enough then to realize what you were doing. You were really.
You're smart, so
No.
accept the D 200 years after.
Can you not interrupt when I'm talking?
My friend.
Can you not interrupt when I'm talking?
Listen to me.
Don't be rude.
Go back
Learn
to the
some
first
civility.
question.
Learn some civility.
Go back to the first
Islam
question.
teaches you these manners. Be a Muslim and you have that manners of a Muslim.
Christians and Jews.
So So be a Muslim, you'll have the manners of a Muslim. So now as you realize now, if you are
Christ, love
smart,
your enemies, unlike your Muhammad.
answer Hashim's question. If you are smart enough, as you claim to be,
I don't claim. Where did you hear me claim?
okay,
to be smart?
so you're not smart, so it's
You
established.
can upload us even if you're not. Where did I claim to be smart?
Fine. So you're not smart, and that establishes, in fact,
No.
this discussion
I'm a human
proves that
being.
point.
I learn.
Can I finish?
So is
That
you.
discussion, your question proved that point that you're not smart, because you asked me all these questions knowing that it would not be possible to answer all of them by remembering all of them.
And
anyway,
if you claim to be
but
smart,
I
you
am
must
going
stick to
to,
the
I am
first
going to,
question.
I'm going to
No,
finish
no.
my answers. I'm going to finish my answers.
Last question, I can stop.
I'm going to finish my answers.
Last question.
No.
Last one.
You asked.
Last one.
Expecting answers.
Last
If
one.
you don't now wait for an answer, that will be your insincere.
Because what you're doing,
not only
you're
you will
rushing
prove
everything,
Excuse me.
every single question to the point we will never finish it.
My friend,
listen.
you
Stick to
asked
the
me a
first
question expecting an answer. So expect an answer.
What are you
If
doing?
you don't expect an answer, don't ask. The rule, one second. The rule is, yes.
Yeah, but bro, you made 20 points.
No.
You made
No,
20
My
no.
brother, listen.
But
You should have asked him. You should have stopped him.
You made 20
I
points.
asked it from the beginning.
Then
I
it
have a
came too
question.
late.
And I gave
Too
you the
late.
question.
Learn from
I
your
told you
mistakes.
from the camera.
Next time not to
Can we
do that
start with
again.
the first
No,
one?
no,
Yeah, but you made
no.
20
I'm saying
points in
learn
one
from
round.
this
But you should
mistake
have started with one
so that you can learn
Let's start
properly.
first one. He's waffling 20.
But
I'm
you
like,
were
brother.
waffling for 10
Brother,
minutes. So he's going to answer.
Right.
He's going to answer all
Now I
of
have to think of the pen part.
Right.
How to finish the pen part. Think about all the justifications.
So now, is there, out of all of these questions that you asked about Islam,
Brother, we didn't even
for
get
the sake
started, man.
honoring this gentleman here, so I'm going to stop, but I'm going to ask you to remind me of a question which is really troublesome, bothering, for which that will indeed be an obstacle for you to accept Islam, for example. So remind me, out of all that you said, one most important one that is so bothering, so I can answer that instead of answering all the questions. Go.
All right, you know what? Let's do that. Let's do that.
Go ahead.
Because
Which one?
you just waffle.
Which one?
All right.
Which one do you want me to answer?
The actions and morality of your prophet that he has done, marrying 6 or having sex, having slaves, adopting his son-in-law's wife, murdering 600 Jews' heads. That's just the beginning. And you finding that normal?
Okay. Do you want me to answer?
Normal? And then, most important,
No.
wait, we'll go with it. Morality, right?
Shall we leave it with this
And
example?
one last one. It's the
No.
same. It's the same.
This is many
content.
examples in one question.
It's the same answer.
Okay, what is the question you asked? Can you say that again, please, so that he can hear?
My question to this man is this. I've heard the question you asked me, give me one so we can start with it after waffling for half an hour. Alright, I'm going to be fair. The morality of Muhammad's action, marrying a 6-year-old, having sex when she's 9, chopping Jews' heads off, 600 of them, marrying his adopted son's wife, ex-wife. And most important of all,
Okay. These are many questions in one, do you agree? Even though they're coming under the umbrella of morality. Good. Should we stick to those rather than... Because look, if I answer this question, each example will require some time to answer. Do you agree? The more you add, the longer it's going to take. And I know from experience now, you will be impatient. You will not have the patience enough to listen to the answers. So let's leave it to those examples.
we're going with one question here.
Yeah, but just one
Choose
question.
one of those things.
So we'll come back to
Yeah,
that.
but
But let's
choose
deal
one
with
of
this
those
one.
and then go to the
All
next
the
and the
actions
next.
that I went into explain.
Right?
Which one is most important to you?
So out of this, no, out of these,
Umbrella done.
thank you, brother. So out of these examples, which one is the most troublesome? Let's deal with that. For the sake of brevity and time, which one is the most important to you to get an answer? Which action out of these four?
Alright, fine. Explain to me. Let's start with the most famous one, because I have one. Marrying a 6-year-old, having sex when she's 9, when your own prophet...
I've heard. That's it.
Let
You
me
need to
give an
explain.
answer. Wait.
What do you mean you need to
No.
answer? You've already said.
Because I know
How
what
is
you're
it
going to say.
moral?
You're going to say one of the like is culture back then is normal.
Now you're answering on my behalf?
Yes, but that's not how it works. Muhammad
Were you
knew
answering on my behalf?
a messenger of
Let him
I
answer.
don't get it.
Ask your question, let him
Ask
answer.
your
Ask your question, let him
and
answer.
let me answer.
Yeah, that's how it works.
I know what you're going to rap on again like you did.
If you do not want my answer, don't ask.
No,
This
I
is the
want
rule.
an answer. I know what
If
you're
you
gonna
don't
say.
want an answer, don't ask.
You're going to give an answer you have said 1,000
No.
times before.
If you want an
Alright,
answer,
fine.
let me answer.
Tell me an answer. If I actually have the same answer I'm expecting, you're wasting my time.
Peter, I want to highlight how Peter is contradicting himself. Like Peter has said that
when you asked that what is your concept of God, and he said that when you understand God, then it is not God. I mean, it is not like you are missing the God. Then he said that another time he said that you cannot understand God.
Answering the question back.
No, you have said you have sir, you have a comment.
It's answering, that's a contradiction.
No. Your question. So your speech has contradiction. So your background of the question has this contradiction. You said that you cannot understand God. When you understand God, then you said that my God is Trinity. Oh, we do not understand God, yet you understand that your God is Trinity. So you are making contradiction. You are claiming that you cannot understand God, yet you understand God to be Trinity. Okay, now. So who blew information? No. Let me answer this contradiction. Then, you said
right here. No. This is your friend or whatever. Didn't you say, let's start with one topic? Now he's going back to the original. Now he's going to waste time.
One contradiction. I'm saying that how you are contradicting yourself. That's very important because to have a fruitful discussion,
you do realize what's happening.
To have a fruitful discussion, you should realize that you may have contradiction within yourself.
How can I contradict with a question? It's when I answer it.
So you are.
He was when half an hour. How can I even speak? How can I contradict?
Your question is based on contradictory assumptions. Yes.
Ask me what is God? How is that
so that's why sometimes you have said that we cannot understand God, yet God is Trinity. Now then you have said we are saying that you have understanding problem. That's why what we are saying. You have said that Muslims do not understand God, Allah, someone far away, and yet said that you are accused that we do not understand, yet claim that Muslims follow Allah's command. Yeah. So you are accusing that we are having the concept of God being far away. So you are saying that it is not understanding, and again you are claiming that understanding is not a good thing one time, and one time you are claiming that understanding God is bad thing.
The whole principle is contradictory. Thank you.
Yeah,
so now, so you are
now we're going to go what he says, or we're going to go what I say.
To you is this: the moral basis of his character.
You didn't even interrupt him. Well, you knew we made an agreement. I will not talk anything about this topic, and you and this guy a long talk.
So it was regarding your
we
question.
We agreed after all that rambling. I said fine. I'm not going to interrupt.
I am saying you've already stated your objections, and out of all these examples of moral objections, you've selected one, which is the young marriage of Aisha radiallahu anha, the mother of the believers, right? By the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You stated your objection. If you want an answer, hear the answer. If you don't want to hear the answer, then go elsewhere. So now I'm going to answer.
Your friend here didn't really want to waste my time.
No, my friend actually showed the inconsistency in your approach so that you may think and reflect on it. So now let me continue with your...
rambled on a piece that I gave you, which you had to answer for him.
If you don't understand what he said,
no problem.
Do.
But what he didn't understand was...
If you didn't understand what he said, no problem. Okay? That's it. Maybe it could be maybe he failed to communicate, maybe he failed to understand. It's either of the two. Right? Either of the two. Okay? So let's get the benefit of doubt. Maybe my brother failed to communicate. I understood you. You understood too? Good. So it seems like you somehow misunderstood. Anyway,
let's carry on.
Your objection is about young marriage of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This seems to be such an important obstacle that will even prevent you from accepting Islam. Now let's understand that. According to Islamic paradigm, Aisha radiallahu anha, she was only consummated in marriage when she became an adult. To us, don't interrupt. To us,
don't lie.
To us, an adult is not someone who was 18 years old, like in UK or some other countries, or 21 years old, like some other countries, and soon to be in China, maybe 23 years old. That is not how we define an adult. You may define an adult who is like 16 or 18. So according to you, those people, those countries in which they allow sexual relationship, you will call them pedophiles. Right? You call them pedophiles. So that's your problem with your definition. In our definition is transcendental. Transcendental. What means is it transcends time and place.
It's contradicting, don't worry.
It transcends time and place, meaning wherever in whichever society you're in, when you are biologically mature, that's your transition from a child to an adult.
And he has sex
when you are intellectually mature, you are also. So there has to be an element of no harm. Biological maturity, no harm, and that tells you you are ready to have marriage. You somehow disagree with this universal
You
definition.
gave that consent.
Excuse me, you're interrupting rudely.
No, bro, you're just lying.
That really shows you're not interested in an answer. If you keep on interrupting again, I will end the discussion right there. Because I am not going to continue. I'm not going to continue speaking to a person who is not sincere in his searching and seeking. If you want to know an answer, let me answer it properly then, without interruption. So, according to our definition, the age of maturity, age of being an adult, there is no such thing as childhood, adolescent, adult. No, we have a child and we have an adult. And the transition is one of biological. Okay? Biology decides when someone transitions from the childhood to an adulthood. It varies from time to time, from place to place. It varies from the equatorial region, which are hot climate in weather and so on, to a regions northern and southern in hemispheres, colder regions. They might mature later in life and so on and so forth. Early in history, they may have matured early and so on and so forth, right? Today, it may not be the case. So, if you have a moral objection, my question would be, on what moral authority and moral ground do you consider this immoral? And if you believe that this is based on the Bible, I would like to know, humbly and sincerely, where does the Bible define the age of adulthood? What age does a person become an adult in the Bible? I want exactly an age. If you cannot provide that, then you are being hypocritical without a sound basis. Because you can only judge this ruler is not 12 inches long, because we know what a 12 inches long ruler is, because we have a standard. If you don't have a standard to measure something against, then you can't say that thing is not up to the standard because you have no standard. So where is your standard of the age of marriage in the Bible? Unless you provide a definitive age in the Bible, the age of marriage, you have no case against moral objections to anyone else's belief system. Over to you, Peter.
Thank you. Now, I'm sorry, Mansur, but you just literally wasted my time, what you just said. I'm going to tell you what.
Is he going to answer or is he going to waffle?
You just said to me, how do you define, right? I'm going to make it a little bit easy for you. I'm not going to talk second. I'm going to do what Jesus said, right? Muhammad married at 6 years old and slept at 9 years old, right? Let's see what Jesus says. According to one of the Gospels, they asked him a question about a 12-year-old girl, and Jesus said, she's a child. Don't lay your hands on her, don't do anything, right? If Muhammad is following his message, why is he contradicting what Jesus says? That's a hypocrite, that's a false prophet. Now, second problem is that you're telling me the Bible...
Where? Can you show me the reference?
Sure.
So I want to see where it says this is the age of marriage, because that's what we're talking about.
Yes. It's not consent. It's telling you that Jesus knew what's morality.
You want to talk about age of marriage?
No. We're talking about
marriage.
Marriage?
Yes.
Age of why marriage. Did Jesus say that she's a child? She's 12 years old.
Age of marriage.
No. You want to
You need to provide us a standard of the age of marriage. If you cannot provide one,
even
then you are
Islam
wasting
is
your own
changing
time.
narratives now.
So now, could you kindly, Peter?
Yeah, sure.
Show me in the Bible the age of marriage according to God. And those of you who are listening, open up your Bible, try to find the verse. The verse that gives you the standard. Standard which God has determined, the age of marriage.
What's happening? 6 years old.
Did you have sex with a 6-year-old?
I need to pray Maghrib because it's really late. So we'll do, no, I have to pray Maghrib. I can come back again if you have time, no problem. But I have to go there about 5 minutes from the side. But please find out the standards that we are so much depending on to judge others.
Because Muhammad had, really? Tell me, explain this hadith. Explain this hadith then, where it says to fondle with little girls. Literally, I'm going to show him the hadith, right? Where it says to fondle with little girls. Literally, that's embarrassing.
Does anyone else know? Is there any other Christians who might help our friend Peter here for the sakeness of the brevity of time? Anyone, any other Christians knows the age of marriage in the Bible? No question, only answer. Does any other Christian know who can help Peter with the age of marriage in the Bible?
That's the age of 12. Where does it say that? I'll find it.
You might get a Nobel Prize, by the way, if you can find one.
Why didn't Muhammad let what's his name marry Fatima? Oh, because she was too young. Is that correct?
Is there any charitable Christian here who can help our friend Peter to find the age of marriage in the Bible?
Why are you going to that for?
Because my claim is, as a Muslim, it doesn't exist.
No, it says kids though. No, it says kids like.
Children are not to be married.
Yeah. We want to see where God has determined and fixed the age of marriage in the Bible. The entirety of the Bible, anywhere, new or the old.
It's the same thing. I'll find it. Don't worry. I'll find it. You know what? I will. Give me 1 second. Don't worry. And then when I show you what happens then, are you going to convert to Christianity? Wait. Are you going to convert to Christianity?
If you show me the age of consent.
No. See, now this is it. Wait. Why are you sitting now? Wait. You know what do you call it? When a child, when a boy becomes a man, or when a girl becomes a man.
He's clown. He is clown.
I'm acting like a clown because I'm laughing at you.
Ask ChatGPT.
I'm acting like a clown. I'm laughing at you.
So you can help him. What is the age of marriage according to the Bible? New and the old. So we can provide him all the quotes.
Thank you, my brother. So you can throw insult, but then when I start insulting you, what happens then?
Yeah.
Exactly. I think it has to do with you know how to have C16s or
This is not your conversation. This is the conversation with Peter. You're in the wrong conversation.
yeah, it's 12 years old. That's what I'm saying.
Don't try to hijack the conversation. This is a conversation where people are learning and benefiting from.
Can you pray and come back to when he's finding out?
Yeah? So my friends will be here. Have you prayed? No. Who can I... Have you prayed, brother? Maghrib?
So
We need to go and pray Maghrib.
ChatGPT says this.
Now, ChatGPT says the Bible does not explicitly specify a minimum age for marriage. Oops. The penny drops.
Let me show the.
So that's why Muhammad married a 6-year-old.
Quick search. Yeah.
Where you get that from anyway?
It's Genesis 2. Holy Spirit should come and help them out to find
There's no point to bring something in. So make it simple.
No, because I'm going to say, Jesus, this guy's going to waffle.
Yeah.
I want to address the points on the Trinity.
Do with wrong
Let me do
understanding.
this and you can talk to him.
You know what you can do? Keep on searching. Give us 5 minutes. We'll come back. At that time, hopefully, you'd have found some answers. Because we need to go and pray. We'll be just here, literally behind here, right?
I don't care about this topic.
No. What we're saying is, because I don't want to go in the middle of a conversation, but it's important for us to do our prayers, right? So where are our cameramen? So I want to just ask them. Okay, we'll just pray.
It doesn't say take young girls to yourself. Child, woman. It doesn't say that.
Now they're gonna run. Yeah, I know. Hey yo, when we get the scripture, you're gonna convert to Christianity.
I knew I was losing my mind.
You need to speak up this evening and pray like
Don't let them gain up on you. Okay? I ain't stopping with you.
Brother, Genesis 2:22 says that a man should leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife. The word wife there can only be translated as woman or wife, not child. So when we say